It's a race with no marks. 3,500 miles to the Arctic Circle and back via whatever route you choose. And it's a race with a reputation. This is the third time that the Vendée Arctique has been run, and while it's not the longest of offshore races that the IMOCA fleet will do, it's one that's proved especially challenging for both competitors and organisers. In short, the big issue is that the course takes the fleet across weather systems that are sweeping across the Atlantic. Like crossing a busy motorway on foot on a bank holiday, timing is everything, although it's probably best not to try that theory out. And that's before you consider the risks of going so far north for boats that are more used to going south. For the first race in 2020, COVID provided the first major challenge. Back then, the course was out and back around a triangular course to a point south of Iceland at 62 degrees north. It was won by Jeremy Bayer in Sheahan. For the second race in 2022, that was due to go around Iceland, but serious weather meant that the race was shortened off the east coast, with the leaders sitting out the storm in shelter. Charlie Dallin won that race. This year there's an interesting twist. Rather than rounding the island or marks, skippers simply need to head to the Arctic Circle, cross it wherever they fancy, and then return to the finish. They can take whatever route they choose, and the fastest out and return is the winner. The race starts from here in Les Sables d'Olonne, which is of course famous for the Vendée Globe. And that channel out there that leads to open water is famous for sparking nerves, butterflies and raw emotion. And while the 9 boats taking part aren't heading off around the world, I bet that heart rates will be up once again for the skippers that head out to the start of this fascinating and unusual race. And as experienced and accomplished as he is, I bet Sam Goodchild, who won the recent 1,000 race, will be feeling the same, even if he is one of the favourites. Sam, it's good to see you. This is a turn up for the books, isn't it? I'm down at your boat and you're at home. That doesn't normally happen.
Yeah, something wrong here, isn't there? But yeah, no, it's a good time to get away from the race village when too many people turn up. Nothing against you, man.
Sam, the last time we saw you, you were about to head off on the 1,000 race. You won that race. It obviously went very well for you. How did it go, though? How did you feel about it in the end?
Yeah, I mean, obviously happy to win. Any race you win, you're pretty happy with, however it happens. But I know the manner in which it happened, which was good. We managed to basically take the lead at the start and hold it to the finish. And so yeah, it's reassuring. The boat was in its prime, if you like. It was flat water, no sea state. We kind of had all the stars were aligned in our favor, if you like. But that means you still have to deliver, even if everything's going to plan. So yeah, happy to have delivered, and now the races are going to get a bit harder with more sea state going to Iceland, a fleet which is growing gently, and then for the route to run will be a lot bigger. So yeah, it's a good way to start the season. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, it did seem like a good way to start the season. I mean, I suppose the key things from your point of view was that, or when we look at your performance, is that actually longer term, this isn't the boat that you'll be in anyway. You've got a new boat coming. And it was very light weather, that race, wasn't it? Or a lot of it was light weather and quite tricky. And I wonder what you learned out of it that you can then sort of carry forwards.
Yeah, for sure. The race was a lot of light weather, and being able to hold the lead in light weather is obviously reassuring because these boats aren't designed for light weather with its big foils. But it is part of the game, and you have to be able to be good in those conditions as well. So that part of it's reassuring. And then, I mean, yeah, like you say, we're going to have a new boat in a year's time. This boat for us is up to the Route de Rhum. So our main aim is to be in the best possible conditions for the Route de Rhum, and that's not a race that's decided in light weather, clearly. But it is, yeah, so it's trying to find that balance of, it's important to be fast in the light, but it's not the priority. So every difference you make on the boat or change you make on the boat has got to has got a plus and a negative to it. So how do you optimize a boat in all conditions is obviously really what we're looking for, and most importantly, the conditions which will help us win the route to Rome.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. Okay, so in a few days' time, you're going to set off on the Vendée Arctique. This race is a very different one, isn't it? Because you don't have sort of marks out there. You've basically got a line, the Arctic Circle, to go up to and back. Does it feel like a different race?
Yeah, I mean, definitely strategically, it opens up the game quite a lot. You can either go one side or the other of Iceland. That's a big choice. And then once you get to west of Iceland, between the ice gate of Greenland or the ice zone, exclusion zone of Greenland, and then Iceland, the actually gap to go through is quite small. So that limits the options west. And then east, the option can go as far east as Norway. There's a point when if you go to Norway, you're adding quite a lot of distance. So you're not going to go too far that way, but there's a fairly open space between Iceland and Norway as to where do you hit that line, and normal weather routine is getting to A to point B quickly, and since point B isn't a fixed point, it makes it a bit more complicated decision process. You obviously see what time you get to the Arctic Circle fastest, but what's the overall fastest route, including the return, is a bit more difficult. There's a few routing tools which have come out to help us, but they came out last week, so we're just learning how to use them now. So yeah, I mean that's definitely opens it up a bit. And then the big difference for us is going north. I mean, how often do races go to 66 north? It's basically never, I think. I can't help myself but think of Team Phillips that went up there to train for the Southern Ocean and never came back again. Um, so not, I mean, it's not a kind and welcoming part of the world for sailboats. Let's put it that way.
The other thing that strikes me about this race, and it's only the third time we will have seen it, it's only been run twice, and both those previous events they had to change the course quite dramatically, didn't they? But what strikes me about it as being unusual is that it crosses weather systems that are sweeping across the Atlantic rather than sort of running with them. Is that unusual? I mean, it looks like it's an unusual way of doing it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that changes it quite a lot to be going across the systems. It means it's going to be changing pretty quickly because the the closing speed with the system is much more than the closing speed when you're going with them in the Southern Ocean. And yeah, it's like you say, the first two editions of the race is they've never done the course they set out to do. That's one of the benefits of this new course that goes just to the Arctic Circle and back is you can choose where you go. So if there's a massive storm on one side, or you can choose to go around it and go further east or further west to avoid it. And that I think will hopefully improve the chances of the race being able to be run as we expected and not have to have a virtual finishing line in Iceland like they did 4 years ago. So yeah, I mean it's who knows how it's going to go and what sauce we're going to be eaten with, but as they say in French, I don't. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I suspect I know the answer to this, but I mean, are you going to, or know what your answer to it might be, but it sounds like because it's such a different race, there's a whole load of other stuff to learn that you might not learn in other events that may be useful going forwards.
Yeah, I mean for sure, putting ourselves in difficult situations and difficult weather conditions. That's where you learn the most is when you have to manage things, whether it's big waves or storms or just pushing through 5 6 hours of heavy weather and to get out the other side. And yeah, I mean it's the sort of thing you don't get very often in training. You going out off the dock when it's more than 30 knots is dodgy. So we kind of don't get much of that in training. The transatlantic races once a year, you'll have 48 hours before you get into the first high pressure system or trade winds. And this time we could have a week, 10 days of low pressure systems, whether it's going upwind, downwind, going around the center of a low. There could be a lot of different things to happen. So, and I guess the other thing to take into account is weather forecasts up there are a little less tuned in because there's less activity and less people to give feedback on them, which is how weather forecasts work in the end, is when there's feedback on to prove an algorithm and there's less of that feedback. So the forecast is going to be a little bit more changing as well. So yeah, lots of things to take into account, that's for sure.
Good. Okay. Well, I've got a very busy day today because I'm going to have to get your boat ready if you're just going to stay at home. So, we got lots on. So
yeah, give me a ring when you're sorted.
As always, Sam, great to talk to you. Good luck in the race, and we'll have a chat with you afterwards to find out how it went.
Perfect. Cheers. Cheers,
Nice
Matt.
one. Cheers.
Someone else who was pleased with their performance so far and who was looking for more was Francesca Clapcich on 11th Hour Racing.
Last time we saw you, you were just about to set off on your own for the first time.
Yes.
Let's start with that. How was that?
It was definitely a complicated race, you know. We always think about light wind being easy and just kind of relaxing, but it's not. There is a lot to like think about how you trim the boat, the weather system, how you navigate that. And that race was definitely complicated in that sense. But a lot of learning. And it's all learning that I want to take on for this next race and for the entire season, and of course for the future for the Vendée Globe. And yeah, that's the most important thing, I would say.
You were quite candid when we were chatting about how much you were looking forward to it, but also how much. So there's a little bit of anxiety there because it was the first time off on your own.
Right.
How did that go?
You know, like, I mean, it's always, you're on your own with a pretty big boat. There is a lot of technology involved in it, and you want to really feel prepared. And of course, when it's the first time, it's a bit of an unknown, right? So it's been definitely a confidence building moment for me, finishing the race, being in the game. After a start that was not that perfect at all, and I was slightly behind, and then really push it through it to get back close to these guys. And yeah, it's been great to see that the boat is really reliable, and I got tons of maneuvers in because it was a lot of sail changes and tacks and jibes, and so yeah, overall just a great experience, not as a only racing standpoint, but overall just a big preparation.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, it's good to hear. Now, this one, the Vendée Arctique, I get the sense that this sort of steps things up a bit, though. I mean, the course is fairly simple, but I mean, you tell me, how do you see this now?
I mean, I definitely see this race as another big milestone in the preparation, right? And the conditions completely different. We're going all the way up to 66 North in the Arctic Circle, and conditions that probably will be similar to what we can encounter in the Southern Ocean more than other places in the world. And big sea stays. There are a lot of low pressures hitting up there. The water is really cold, and yeah, I think again it will be a great test. Pretty long race. It's gonna be around between 9 and 11 days, something like that. So definitely a good place to start. Also in the preparation for the Route du Rhum at the end of the season, but overall as another step towards the Vendée Globe in 2028.
What do you hope to get out of this? What do you think this race in particular will teach you?
I mean, to be fair, this is also the first qualification race for the Vendée Globe. It's not just a race; it's a big, step towards that end goal. And I definitely want to test myself in hard conditions, making sure that I can handle the boat in a way that is like high performance, but also keeping the boat in one piece. And as you said, it's a really different race compared to the transatlantic. We don't get hammered in the English Channel for a couple of days and then slowly getting in warm, nice weather and trade winds. This is quite relentless. You get into big, like low pressure systems, and they are kind of one after the other, and yeah, so it's gonna be a pretty intense days.
Yeah, well, we wish you well. It looks
so
really
much.
exciting. So
Yeah.
pleased that you had a good run in the last one, but good luck.
Thanks.
Arnaud Boissières, who lives in Les Sables d'Olonne and is sailing April Marine, one of the old Hugo bosses, has done both of the previous races and has a good grasp as to why this race is so important.
It's important to do this race because we probably have a strong wind, big wave, and it will be hard. But it's very important to have a good preparation to do the Vendée Globe, because when you do the Vendée Globe, we don't have light wind all over the world. That's why I think after the race, before the Vendée Globe, there is two quite projects. Some projects who have done Vendée Arctique, and the other one who don't have done Vendée Arctique. That's why it's very important, very serious, this kind of race.
And I guess it probably changes the way you use your weather routing as well, because in this race, you won't have a fixed mark to go to. You're going to a line, not a fixed point. So
yeah, the other thing is completely crazy. We don't have a mark to go, not a waypoint. We have latitude, and you choose the longitude where you will go on the other side to come back. we go more north than the Cap Horn is south, you know?
Really? Right, that's
We
cool.
go 66 north and the Cap Horn is 64
Wow.
south.
Right, interesting. So from what you're saying, it sounds like we could probably expect to see the fleet much more separated than normal. This is not going to be a follow my leader type race.
I hope so. Because you know some kind of boats are very quick and very fast, and that's why I think this race could be very open. I hope there is a lot of quite surprise, and that's why I'm very motivated to go to this race.
Meanwhile, just along the coast back in Lorient, a brand new IMOCA was being unveiled for skipper Kojiro Shirishi. And while the team still seems quite shy when it comes to showing specific images of the boat, her designer Guillaume Verdier explained why this 60-footer is different to the rest.
On a essayé de faire un bateau qui a moins de surface mouillée quand il navigue. Il faut savoir que la surface mouillée, c'est 70% ou 75% de ce qui traîne dans l'eau. Et pour faire moins de surface mouillée, on s'est dit qu'on allait mettre une sorte de coque centrale, comme la coque centrale d'un trimaran, et qu'on allait s'appuyer dessus, un peu en équilibre, un peu comme un vélo avec ses petites roulettes, et qu'on essayerait de se débrouiller comme ça. Et on avait l'impression qu'on pouvait le faire parce que sur les bateaux, tous les bateaux qu'on a fait, depuis qu'on a des foils, on arrive en grande partie à rester sur nos petites roulettes. Donc on s'est dit, on va vraiment essayer de faire un gros coup.
Il y a une vraie rupture avec ce qui se faisait précédemment dans les formes de la coque. Par contre, c'est vrai qu'on utilise les mêmes matériaux, on est sur une structure qui est celle des IMOCA, on a une jauge qui nous impose de rester dans une boîte. Mais par rapport à la précédente génération, oui, il y a une vraie rupture en termes de concept. Guillaume Verdier parlait de gap identique au passage des IMOCA, des petits foils au grand foil. Donc on verra les résultats, mais j'espère qu'il y a un saut en avant, c'est sûr.
The main focus for Shirishi and his team is the 2027 fully crewed ocean race around the world. But their first major event leading up to it is the Ocean Race Atlantic from New York back to Lorient that starts in September this year. But for now, the focus is on the race to the Arctic Circle and back, which starts on Sunday the 7th of June.